Hello and a warm welcome to Keeping It Real by Housing.com, a podcast where we dive deep into the world of real estate, explore trends, and track insights. I'm your host, Gaurav Chaudhary. We bring you this episode from a very picturesque part of India. We are here in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Coimbatore is evolving very rapidly. From once what was known as only a textile city, now it is a hub of information technology, rapid infrastructure development is taking place, and is also a very strong hotspot for educational institutions. A lot is happening here. It is visible in the way offices and IT sector are investing here in Coimbatore. For instance, you can see a lot of global capability centers setting up their offices here in Coimbatore. It's also visible in the skyline. And as we all know, the real estate sector is a marker of change. We can see it in the new residential projects that are taking place, also in the commercial towers that is coming all across the city. Who better to talk about this than Mohamed Shafi, Managing Director, United Living Space, a pioneering group in the real estate space in Coimbatore. With more than 24 years of leadership experience across real estate and construction, Mr. Shafi brings in a lot of expertise and knows this sector in this city and in this region like the back of his palms. In this episode, we're going to dive into various aspects of the real estate industry, about the prospects and the bullishness of Coimbatore, about smart homes and smarter investments, about technology, about innovation, about new business models and financing strategies. Welcome to the show, Mr. Shafi. Delighted to have you on this podcast.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thanks for having me on this podcast.
Mr. Shafi, let's start off this conversation with something that is visible. It's about how people go about and buy homes. It's about the decision making. The way people buy homes now is significantly different from they used to buy homes, say about 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. What are the key shifts that you see that has taken place, and how do you see this evolving over the next 5 years or so?
In the past 5 years, as we all know, have witnessed a lot of sea of change in the real estate sector. And earlier people used to be focused fully on three aspects. One is the size, location, and the price. Now people are much more informed. They are evolved buyers.
Right.
They not only want this, they want more and more. As the Gen Z and newer generation people coming in, they want everything in the real estate space. So I think, yes, there has been a big transformation in that aspect. Now everyone is looking at more space rather than the size. I think that's a key driver for what we're doing. And apart from that, they're all looking for smart home features. How sustainable this building is, how is this going to secure their future in terms of water, and what is the returns they are looking at if they are looking at a rental point of view, and what is the support we get from builders when it comes to resale. I think they have a whole load of questions that needs to be answered in this product. So I think that's what is a big difference in the past 5 years.
Would you say that location is no longer as important a factor as it was previously? For instance, previously it was all about location. Do you think people are attaching proportionately lower weightage to location now as compared to earlier?
Yes, location is definitely important when it comes to their workspace and schooling and hospital needs are concerned. Location does become an important aspect, but people have also evolved in the way of working remotely and part-time working and smaller shifts at office, and location has really become little more insignificant compared to olden days. Earlier, the center of city was the most important spot to live. Now it's not that anymore. People are looking at quality of air, people are looking at good picturesque view, lesser traffic, nicer locality to live. These things are really taking priority while making the decisions of the housing.
What about functionality? What about space design? What about sizes of houses?
Yeah, it's a very important question which we come to the size. See, we all know, we all agree that for the past 3-4 years, the cost of land, construction, everything is gone. Okay, but the rate of the salary hike is not in proportion to the hike that has already happened in this two aspects. So there is a big mismatch, there is a gap. How do you fill in that gap? Now that gap has to be done by the builder. This is where architectural intelligence comes into place, and you design a more efficient space. Now earlier, in Coimbatore, there used to be 2 bedrooms will be around 1,200 to 1,300 square feet. But today we are looking at 850 to 900. Okay, but they are not willing to compromise too much on the difference between 1,200 to 900. They want better space design. They want all the facilities that can be incorporated within that space, and also it has to be meeting the price demands. Apart from the location, all these factors have to be incorporated into this. See, now if you see a 1,000 square feet apartment poorly designed will not meet a client's requirement vis-a-vis comparing to a 900 square feet apartment, which is very well designed. Okay, I think that's what we are looking at. That's the efficiency of design we are looking at when we come to multi-utility homes.
It's interesting you talk about rising land costs and also construction costs. Land, as we all know, is a finite resource, so prices will only rise, and construction costs have been rising progressively on a secular basis. In this context, do you think innovative business and financing models have evolved or will evolve to enable home buyers, prospective and current, to fulfill their aspirations so far as home buying is concerned?
Yeah, I mean, I see, today people are very much into co-working space when it comes to working spaces concerned. I mean, why not co-living? It's just catching up. If we sell it to a bachelor and he has a 2-bedroom option, he can always look at letting out the 2nd bedroom and look at co-living with somebody who syncs with him. This rental will help him offset the cost of EMIs or the interest costs. Now, I think it's a very interesting concept in that space where we promote these kind of things, and we should also learn how to accommodate more people. So today, like you said, we cannot control what's not in our hands, whether it's the land price or the construction or the labor cost. We cannot control. What we can control is the size you have, how well you utilize it, isn't it? That's in our hands. I think it's control the controllables.
Mr. Shafi, there's also a question of consumer mindset. It's about sustainability. Sustainability today is more than a buzzword. Consumers are getting more and more demanding so far as sustainability of projects are concerned, and here I'm talking about environmental sustainability. Given this, how do developers actually balance two goals, which sometimes can be pulling in opposite directions? One, of course, is to make a project financially viable, and two, ensure that it falls within the realms of climate friendliness and are also ecologically viable and sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, sustainability is the big word in real estate today. I would say sustainability is a matter of do or die. It's not a add-on. Okay, you don't have water to live. Okay, how much our money you pour into the building, in part in terms of interiors or the location, it's of no use. Now we are already witnessing in lot of metro cities. You have 3,000, 5,000 apartments, and there are like thousands of lorries, tankers coming inside, plying inside to supply them water. I mean, I don't know what is the future of those kind of projects and locations. So sustainability is a very, very fundamental and basic requirement for humans to thrive. I think that's how we should look at. We should not look at viability or cost attached to it. Yes, take a sizable project, and when the cost of sustainability is divided among them, it is really not much. But when you see it individually, yes, it does make a lot of impact to the bottom line of a developer. But when you prioritize that over all the things, the choice is very clear whether you have to be sustainable or not. You don't do sustainable initiatives, you don't survive. They're closely linked.
That's right. So sustainability is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity.
So it's absolutely a necessity.
Mr. Shafi, it's also about an investment asset class. Real estate is now a solid investment asset class. It is not just about buying a house to stay or buying an apartment to stay. It involves long-term financial commitment, and it is also looked at as a strong investment asset class. Given the changing dynamics of the industry and also the real estate scenario, what advice are you going to give to prospective and current home buyers to future-proof their investment?
Three aspects I would rather say. One is rental income, which is whether you're going to stay there. So today all the youngsters live in a very different world. Suddenly they hear, then suddenly called up anywhere in the world. They might have to shift cities. It's very common. Buying a property cannot lock them to a certain location. Then the whole idea is beaten. You cannot switch over again and again very quickly in real estate market. So this flexibility, if a builder can offer, I think it will be a game changer. See, one, you are not there, you move out, you are paying rental somewhere else. If your existing property, wherever it is, if that offsets your rental cost, you are good to go. It doesn't matter where you have the property. Right. Number two, 5 years down the lane, you want to liquidate this property. Right. You are evolving. You're going to a bigger property, newer city or a bigger villa. You need to liquidate it, and that has to appreciate. So these two things are the most important financial consideration that any youngster who wants to buy today has to look at it. The third point which I maintained was to make these two possible. Maintenance of the building and the maintenance of the unit itself makes a huge impact on these two things. Right. A well-maintained property will obviously fetch you higher returns as well as appreciate more when it comes to financial investments.
That's some solid advice, Mr. Shafi. Let's look ahead and let's talk about Coimbatore. As we all know, Coimbatore is emerging as a growth hotspot, not just in South India, not just in Tamil Nadu, but also in South India, and also as one of the fastest growing hotspots and cities in India. Given the changes that are taking place and you have a ringside view of what's happening, what are the innovations that you foresee? What are the new trends that you foresee in this city and the adjoining region?
As a promoter, I think one of the key aspects everyone looks at is how fast you deliver the project, which is fundamental. Apart from that, all these people are looking at safety. Okay, safety is very key for anyone. You can just, you're busy doing a lot of stuff. Your house is completely secured, you have 24/7 maintenance, you have CCTV, all this is taken care fundamentally. You can live worry free. I think that's a very important aspect. Apart from that, what are the tech features today? a regular lock as well as a digital lock, the price is almost minimal difference. Okay, so why are we still using a traditional lock? Taking keys, making multiple keys. I forgot the keys. I don't know where I kept it. Just use a fingerprint and move on. But these are all very, very basic things we're looking at. And as any city grows, getting a person to clean your home is a huge challenge. Okay, and obviously the person who is working 8 hours, 12 hours in IT sector has absolutely no time to come and take care of it other than it being a weekend. So we need to bring in, we cannot create human resources just like that from thin air. But technology can come in handy, you know, like you have these robo mops. If they can be designed in such a way they don't block anywhere, okay, they seamlessly move, you get out, it is all app controlled, you are sitting in office, put in a reminder, just click it, it just starts doing its job. By the time you come back by evening, you know, it's mopped up and neat. Right. You don't need to give the keys to somebody, don't have to track somebody if they're coming or not, you know. These are simpler things, but these are very effective, most needed also. And last aspect I would say is space saving furnitures. I think as the size is getting smaller of the apartment, because the uncontrollable things of land and cost of building going up, our sizes are getting smaller and smaller, but it has to stop at a certain size. It cannot go below a livable condition. Right. Okay, and that's when you have 10 feet height of building. How do you use the vertical space rather than the horizontal space, which is constrained?
Right.
That is where your smart saving furnitures come in a picture. Normally when you buy 2-bedroom, single family with a husband, wife and a kid, here in Coimbatore, I don't know how it happens everywhere else, small kids sleep with the parents, always. So if you see the 2nd bedroom, it is always kept with a cot and some unwanted things kept on it. Nobody can really utilize this. Imagine a small shift in a furniture where it becomes a Murphy bed or a sofa cum bed. Now that room can multiply into anything, can evolve into anything. It can be a yoga room, it can be a party room, it can be an AV room. You can just think in any ways, and you can, you know, use that space to the max. See, you cannot just buy one smart saving furniture and just fix it somewhere. Right. Because the rooms have to be enabled to keep those furnitures.
It's functionality.
Yep, it's very important. So you need to know where the sockets are, switches are, where the door is opening, where is the light, you know, so many things. Where is the window placed? Yeah. So all this decide whether you can fit in a certain furniture and use it to the max. That's right. Okay, this have to be designed. This is what I keep talking about, architectural intelligence. These things have to be by default built in so that they can use the space to the maximum.
That's a fantastic perspective, Mr. Shafi. Thanks for explaining the nuances in such great detail to us.
Thank you, Gaurav.
That's it from us for this episode of Keeping It Real by Housing.com, a podcast where we dive deep into the world of real estate, explore trends, and track insights in what's happening inside the real estate industry in conversation with experts. This is Keeping It Real by Housing.com, where we keep it real always. If you're a pro or anyone who's interested in what's happening in the world of real estate, this is the destination to be. You can catch the episode on Housing.com, on the Housing.com app, on the YouTube channel of Housing.com, on Earshot.in, on Spotify.com, on Apple Podcasts, on Geo7, and a host of other podcast streaming platforms and directories. Take care and stay safe.